Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech protected.
Welcome to Recovery Fitness. I'm Big Larry. We're going to talk about nutrition today. It's about 80% of your goals, okay? If you're looking to, get in great shape, maybe lose weight or even gain weight. So with nutrition, I wrote some stuff down here. The most important thing is you want to eat often, okay? Like every 3 to 4 hours. Planning is very important. Piss poor planning produces poor performance. Peaceful planning produces peak performance. So you want to perform at your peak. So planning is so key, especially around food. Some people spend so much time and energy to plan their workouts, but they neglect to plan their food. All right? Snacks. So when you eat often, typically the American diet is 3 major meals, okay? But if you can have 6 meals, that's better. So you want to think like 3 smaller meals and like 3 snacks, if that makes sense, okay? We'll go over some of my favorite protein sources, some of my favorite carbohydrate sources, as well as healthy fats. And we'll talk about what's good to drink, what's not too good to drink, and then also to condiments as well, which ones to avoid, which ones to use. We'll go over why breakfast is the most important part of the day. We'll talk about healthy fats are good for you. We'll talk about good carbs are good for you. We'll go over hydration. And then we're going to talk about to see if in fact you are a food addict. We'll go through a series of questions. All right? So, most important thing, like I said before, is you want to eat often. And when you eat often, every 3 to 4 hours, your body responds well to that. The most important thing is that your body builds lean muscle mass when you eat often. If we don't eat often, your body goes after that lean muscle mass first. Most people think if they skip a meal, they will get skinny. That is dangerous because you deprive your body of nutrients and end up being skinny yet fat. You have lots of fat and not much muscle. If you eat 3 big meals, you end up eating too much generally. So think of 3 smaller meals and 3 snacks. During these 3 meals, make sure you use portion control. A decacard size for protein, fist size for carbohydrates, and thumb size for healthy fats. Okay? When you eat your meals, remember you're going to have a snack in 3 to 4 hours, so you're less likely to overeat. And once your metabolism gets going, you'll start to see changes in your body. A lot of us have unhealthy eating habits. So it takes time to change those habits. So be patient with yourself. Rome wasn't built in a day, so to speak. So it takes time to change those habits. One thing is if you can eliminate white flour and sugar, for the most part, that is a big start on nutrition. Okay? All right. So we talked a little bit about planning. So to go in more depth with that, planning could be 70-80% of your goals of your training. So planning healthy meals is crucial to success. Take time to plan your meals, right? So like on Sundays and Wednesdays, I try to do my food prep. I do my grocery shopping, and I have glass Tupperware, 6 containers, And I also have other bigger containers to put my protein source in there, and also some of my good healthy carbs as well. And it makes life so much easier when you can food prep. I recommend glass Tupperware, that way you can throw it in the microwave and go from there. All right. So again, take time to plan your meals. Eating out is expensive and can add up quickly. Invest in Tupperware and prepare your meals a day in advance or a week in advance. In between meals, you can always try a whey protein shake, especially before a workout or after a workout. Or pea protein's pretty good too, I think. When you have a shake after a workout, you're tapping into muscles that need protein to maximize muscle growth. All right. We talked a little bit about snacks, right? Very important to have in between your 3 meals. Think of having protein, carbs, and fats with your snacks. Right? Okay. So my favorite protein sources, we got fish, poultry, meat, legumes, and dairy. Right? So my favorite fish sources for fish is salmon and tuna fish and sushi. Poultry, turkey breast, ground turkey, chicken breast, skinless, not fried. Right? And favorite meat, we got steak, ground beef, ham, pork loin. Make sure that it's lean. Legumes, black beans and soybeans are my favorite. Dairy, you got skim milk, 1%, 2% milk, yogurt, low fat, low sugar, cottage cheese, 1% or 2%, egg whites and or whole eggs. Right? So carbohydrates, I think most breads, as you notice, the ingredients that you find on the shelf have a bunch of preservatives in there. If you are going to go with bread, which I try to avoid, but if you absolutely love bread and you want to go for it on your meal plan, try locally baked bread with minimal ingredients. Okay, maybe 5 to 6 ingredients on there is a good rule of thumb. All right, cereals, kashi's great. Oatmeal, slow cooked, not instant. Right? Starches, brown rice, couscous, quinoa, whole wheat pancakes, or whole wheat pasta. Root vegetables, sweet potatoes, beets, yams, potatoes. Right? Green vegetables, kale, which is like a superfood, right? Spinach, romaine lettuce, broccoli, cucumber, green beans. Other veggies, peppers, squash, tomatoes, zucchini. My favorite fruits would be apples, blackberries, blueberries, cantaloupe, cherries, grapefruit, mangoes, strawberries, raspberries. And I personally take a couple prunes at night just to keep me regular, right? Prunes are good for you. Next up, we got fats. Healthy fats, you got canola oil, coconut oil, flaxseed oil, olive oil. A good source of healthy fats are avocados. Okay. Also nuts we'll throw in there with healthy fats. Almonds, cashews, walnuts, macadamias, and natural peanut butter. Fluids, go with water, green tea, coffee, orange juice. If you are going to have orange juice, try to dilute it. Okay. Condiments, we keep the list pretty short. Balsamic vinegar, garlic, pesto, herbs, spices, hummus, salad dressing, no sugar with those seasonings. Okay. All right, so we just listed the best protein sources we're going with, the best carbohydrates, and the best fats. Again, just to repeat, protein portion size is a deck of cards. Carbohydrates, size of your fist, and fats, size of your thumb. Okay? All right. So I just wrote up something about breakfast here. Okay. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. When you wake up, your body is in a fasted state. The goal of breakfast is to get nutrients into your body as soon as possible to start your metabolism. Make sense? When you have a good breakfast of protein, carbohydrates, and fats, example, eggs, oatmeal, a tablespoon of flaxseed oil in the oatmeal, you provide essential energy to your body, brain, and prevent catabolism. If you skip breakfast, which a lot of people do, and fuel up on caffeine, your body uses your lean muscle mass for energy. The misconception is that if you skip a meal, your body will use fat for energy. The reality is your body uses lean muscle mass first. Essentially, your body consumes muscle for fuel, known as catabolism. All right, so again, breakfast, very important to have. You want to start your day with a good breakfast, okay? All right. Next up, good fats are good for you. So we got avocados, flaxseed oil, fish oil, olive oil, almonds, cashews, coconut oil. All are great sources of fat. Fats are important for good health. What do good fats do for you? Good fats can help you get from meal to meal without feeling like you're super hungry. Or recently a popular term, hangry. Hungry plus angry. So you probably know some people who you can predict if they're gonna be angry because they might have skipped a meal or they're not having healthy fats, and next thing you know, you see them pounding a bag of chips to get those fats. But potato chips, as we know, typically are unhealthy fats. So avoid being hungry and angry. Avoid being hangry. All right? Good fats release energy slowly. Very important. Regulating the body to perform at optimum levels. Good fats have powerful nutrients and antioxidants that help heal joints and organs. Flaxseed oil and fish oil help memory and mental clarity. I personally take omega-3 fish oil, which is really good for you, right? Fish oil has powerful omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. These omegas can improve cardiovascular health and your brain to function as best as it can. The body can convert flaxseed oil into omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, much like fish oil. A tablespoon or two a day, one in the morning, one in the evening is all you need, and you can take it in a shake if you want as well. Saturated fats are bad, found in a lot of fried foods typically. Okay? Alright. So again, breakfast, most important part of the day. You want to avoid that catabolism where your body uses the lean muscle mass for energy. That's what we're trying to build and protect, is lean muscle mass. All right? Okay. So breakfast, good fats. Now talk about good carbs. Okay? All right. So, good carbs are good for you. Bad carbs are highly processed and low in fiber and have a high fructose corn syrup are the ones to avoid. What do good carbs do for you? Good carbs like oatmeal, sweet potatoes, brown rice are complex carbohydrates that give you sustained energy throughout the whole day. So why would you want to deprive yourself of needed energy? People who are active can only go so long without carbs. Your body needs carbs, and especially fiber, which is in good carbohydrates. Fiber improves your digestive system and improves your cardiovascular health. A good portion of carbs, like I said, should be the size of your fist. Alright? Okay. Alright, so let's talk now about protein. Alright, so protein. For the athlete or competitive bodybuilder, for every pound that you weigh, you want roughly a gram of protein. For example, if you weigh 200 pounds, you want 200 grams of protein a day. Protein is important to build muscle. It's important to have with every meal. Carbs and protein go hand in hand. You need the essential energy from carbs to give you the energy to fuel your workouts so the protein can build muscle. If you skip on carbs, your body will use the protein for energy, which is not good. So if you're 200 pounds, how do you reach your goal of 200 grams of protein a day? Well, think of portion sizes first. At each meal, have a decacard size of protein. Okay? For example, an 8-ounce glass of milk has 8 grams of protein. Red meat, 4 ounces, about 30-35 grams of protein. Cottage cheese, 1 cup, about 28 grams of protein. Pork, 4 to 6 ounces, around 35 grams of protein. Fish, 6 ounces is about 40 grams of protein. Tuna fish, about 6 ounces of tuna fish has 40 grams of protein. Chicken, between 4 and 6 ounces, about 35 grams. So if at every meal you have the decacard size of protein, and then also with your snacks have a decacard size of protein as well, you'll reach your goal of getting enough protein. Make sense? All right. So nutrition is so important to reach your goals. Here in Recovery Fitness, sometimes we're dealing with people who might have some type of eating disorder. I've been there. Like I said, I was approaching 300 pounds on the couch, depressed, and that's no way to live. So if you're watching or following Recovery Fitness, you can watch my transformation and my journey to get up on stage in November in Rhode Island. We're gonna go for an all-natural bodybuilding show. So for me, nutrition is super important. And if you're a food addict and you're struggling with food addiction, it's not easy to break. Last episode we talked about how exactly do you break an addiction. Well, the most important thing I think is admitting you're powerless over that addiction, right? And then asking for help. Getting non-critical, supportive people in your life. Using that mind to watch out for those critical voices, reverse them with affirmations, get help from your recovery coach, do inventory, change, make amends. All the 7 steps of Recovery Fitness will help you reach your goals. Okay? All right. So just a word about hydration. I typically drink a gallon of water a day. Okay? A lot of Americans are chronically, mildly dehydrated. So you can tell with your urine if it's clear, you're hydrated. If it's on the darker side or yellow side, you're approaching dehydration. Okay? So because of dehydration, over time, the connective tissues around our joints literally dry up. If we stay hydrated by drinking enough water, this prevents the bad dehydration. You want to drink enough to improve your muscle tissue and flexibility. Make sense? I think green tea is a better choice than coffee personally. Coffee tends to give you false energy and you end up crashing. Green tea has a lot of antioxidants in it. It tends to have much less of a crash than coffee. So at all these coffee joints, they've got all these fancy drinks with whipped cream and all types of stuff in there. Who knows exactly what they're putting in there. But long story short, you got to watch out for what we call liquid calories that can throw off your food plan. So if you plan, eat often, have good fats, good carbs, good protein, and hydrate the right way, and get support around your food addiction, then you most likely will make improvement, right? Okay. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about food addiction. And I'm going to go through a series of questions, okay? So these are questions to see, you can ask yourself if in fact you might be a food addict, right? Have you ever wanted to stop eating compulsively and found you just couldn't? Do you constantly think about food or your weight? Do you find yourself attempting one diet or food plan after another with no lasting success? Do you binge and then get rid of the binge through vomiting, exercise, laxative, or other forms of purging? Do you eat differently in private than you do in front of other people? Has a doctor or family member ever approached you with a concern about your eating habits or weight? Do you eat large quantities of food at one time? Binge. Is your weight problem due to your nibbling all day long? Do you eat to escape from your feelings? Do you eat when you're not hungry? Have you ever discarded food only to retrieve it and eat it later? Do you eat in secret? Do you fast or severely restrict your food intake? Have you ever stolen other people's food? Have you ever hidden food to make sure you will have enough? Do you feel driven to exercise excessively to control your weight? Do you obsessively calculate the calories you burn against the calories you've eaten? Do you frequently feel guilty or ashamed about what you've eaten? Are you waiting for your life to begin when you lose the weight? Okay? So, do you feel hopeless about your relationship with food? So if you answered yes to any of these questions, you may be a food addict. You're not alone. Recovery Fitness can help you come out of denial and get the help you need. All right? So, to summarize, I consider myself a food addict of sorts. It was worse in years past. I make progress every day. We talked about planning nutrition. Talked about breakfast is the most important part of your meal plan. Eating every 3 to 4 hours. Good fats, good carbs, good protein. Portion control. Carbs, fist, thumb size fats, decacard size for protein. So when you piece all this together and choose from that healthy list of food, you're able to create what we call a food plan. Here at Recovery Fitness, we're here to help people with their food planning. That's an essential part to build lean muscle mass. Eating often also improves concentration. When you eat often, it speeds up your metabolism. And I've been doing this since about mid-December, and I'm down about 18 pounds, and I feel great. And when it comes to about like 3.5, 4 hours, I'm looking to have a smaller meal. I call it meal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, you might be baffled, at home thinking, how am I going to overcome my food addiction, right? Well, I think the goal is to identify with what we're talking about here and then take action to take care of yourself. The 3 A's: awareness, acceptance, and action. Okay, you have to be aware that yes, in fact, you could be a food addict. It's really a self-diagnosed thing. So when you say, yes, in fact, I am a food addict, that's the first step, right? That's like the first step in Recovery Fitness, right? Coming out of denial, accepting we have a an abnormal relationship with food. So once you can accept that, that's the awareness part. Awareness, second part, is acceptance. Awareness, acceptance, and action. Accepting that fact that yes, I am in fact a food addict, then you can take action to change. Makes sense? So, here at Recovery Fitness, our goal is to empower you to follow a disciplined food plan. And sometimes it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. All right. But you want to continually to make progress. A little tip: if you have to travel, getting little things of tuna fish, the flavored tuna fish packets, some almonds. That's always a good trick to get enough protein, healthy fats when you're traveling. Okay. So again, Recovery Fitness, we're here to help. It's a new year. It's a new you. I'm Big Larry, here to help. Book is coming out soon. Website's under construction. It's coming out soon as well. And with that, we will close out for today on nutrition. So stay tuned next week. Everybody take it easy and have a great week. See you next week. Thank you.